She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Hummel, and I'll be auditioning for the role of Kicker.
Hello! Thank you guys so much for listening. This is Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Alicia.
I'm also your host, Luke.
And today it is our 75th episode. Whoop woo! So we're very excited. It's also, I think, going to be a good episode. We got some fun rankings and some fun movies to talk about. I have like 1.5 movies to talk about. We'll get there eventually. Today we are talking about the two new releases from this weekend, The Black Phone 2 and Good Fortune with Keanu Reeves. So, woo woo. We want to do a vibe check this morning, this fine Sunday morning. I don't know. We had to redo our intro because I had totally had a brain fart. I was like,
it was.
I don't know what I'm saying.
That was crazy. We go pretty big for the intro, but that was intense.
I was like, nope, we gotta start over. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras.
No.
Anyways, we're here now. I'm excited. I really liked The Black Phone 2, and we've got I'm really excited for our rankings. I'm excited for them.
We're gonna have kind of a bit of a deep dive in horror and comedy of the year so far.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of conversation to be had around that. I think these are two, I would say, kind of similar categories, specifically in the way
they get left out.
Well, that for one. But a lot of horror and comedy directors kind of go back and forth because both kind of require an understanding of how to build anticipation and kind of kind of go away from what the audience is expecting. So they're very similar, I would say, in structure.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting that we're having kind of two deep dives on very similar categories. And I think it's an interesting year for both. I think horror is having a much bigger time. That's a bad way of putting it. But it has a bigger platform than comedy has these days.
For sure. And I will say also, just so we get this out of the way, if you haven't seen one of the films and don't want to hear us talk about it or whatever, I'll put in the description below when we start talking about each thing. Yeah. So we're going to start talking about The Black Phone first, but if you haven't seen that and you've seen Good Fortune, look in the description so you know where to skip to, because we will be talking spoilers.
Yes, absolutely.
So there you go.
Starting our conversation on The Black Phone 2, I fear we need to go back to The Black Phone 1. The Black Phone.
The Black Phone. That's so true. I put in our title, The Black Phone 2, and that is incorrect. It is just Black Phone 2.
Yeah.
It's no longer the.
Because there's
the
more
the
than
is
one.
gone. Yeah. I guess.
That phone ain't shit anymore.
It's just any black phone. You're not special anymore. The Black Phone.
So,
I guess.
The Black Phone, I would say, is similar, maybe not super similar to how I felt about The Suicide Squad, which we talked about recently, because I didn't hate it or think it was bad when I first watched it. But considering how much people were hyping it up, I remember being a little underwhelmed by it when I watched it the first time.
Yeah.
Rewatching it, I'm very glad we did. I enjoyed it quite a bit more. I love this director, Scott.
The director.
Derrickson. Yes.
I thought you were trying to say structure. I was like, what?
I love the director. He is one of my favorite horror directors.
It is great.
And Ethan Hawke, I think, is so talented.
Yeah.
Little did we know we had little up and coming Mason Thames in there.
What a talented young kid.
And it's a super.
Somebody's doing great things.
For sure. And it's a very original. Yeah, original horror. I'm sure there's things similar to it, but it's the biggest kind of on its own original.
Well, actually, it is apparently, I read on Wikipedia, based off a short story. So I don't know how loosely. I have no idea. And, I don't know if it would be considered adapted or original. I would guess adapted since it is technically, inspired by something. Again, don't know how heavily at all. I know also they were not going to make it for a while, but then the director wanted to like base it off of some of his experiences because he lived in Colorado apparently. Don't know, with the content of this film, what experiences. I'm like, are you okay? I don't know.
Whoa.
But yeah, it's like The Monkey where the director's like, yeah, it's my childhood. And I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? He's probably not.
No.
That's crazy. Anyways, so I think it is a little bit adapted. But I don't know if it's quite like Stephen King
It's like adapted
novel.
adjacent.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
from my understanding. Mm-hmm.
Which makes
Plus
sense.
Wikipedia, so take it with a little bit grain of salt. But
I would say it makes sense. I would say I can definitely see the first movie being like in a book. Like it feels kind of novel-esque.
yeah,
Yeah, that is interesting. But I really enjoy this like trope that kind of shows up in horror every now and then where just randomly a kid is able to like see ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I love that trope,
yeah.
and it's in some of my favorite movies.
I do feel like they do the whole like, what do you call it? Like not magical element, but like it's not just like realistic horror. Because obviously he's able to talk to ghosts and things, but I feel like they do that really well where it still seems very grounded. It still seems very realistic.
Because the thing is, the horror element is not crazy at all. Like, it's
Yeah.
a kidnapper who wears this creepy mask and is just crazy. That is, like, not a crazy idea. That's a very, that could happen to people today.
Mm-hmm.
But
does
then,
happen, so,
the, like, ghost and the paranormal side of it kind of being on the side of helping the protagonist. I think that's a very interesting move in horror, actually.
I agree.
I would say it's almost similar to, like, The Shining in that respect.
Okay.
Her?
I see that. Because that also seems kind of like it starts grounded and it kind of builds a little bit from there.
Mm-hmm.
Very Stephen King-esque.
Yes.
Yeah. Good ideas there.
Yeah, for sure. I also think it's very interesting coming up with the grabber. I remember, because we're looking at some of the horror icons, and I think it's actually really funny to look at how many of them have white masks.
Yeah.
Because it's
A lot.
most of them.
Yeah.
And, like, if we're going into whiteface, we have, like, Jigsaw. Like, we have Ghostface, Michael Myers, Jason. It's a lot of the big names.
Yeah, I feel like the first one I think of that's not a white face is, like, the Insidious, like, red demon thing. Anyways.
Pennywise, another whiteface.
Yeah. Interesting.
Terrifier clown art.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's very interesting.
Even like, not quite horror, but like even like Beetlejuice has like a very pale
that's
face.
horror adjacent, I would
Yeah,
say. Beetlejuice
yeah.
counts in that. I
Yeah.
would include him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder what the kind of background behind. I'm sure it's like clowns in general, and the idea of like the mask and like kind of equivocating those like actual masks to like the clown makeup and what's hiding behind it.
Yeah.
Probably almost like a more masculine move at like what the makeup would be for a clown, but it's
Well,
like
even,
a
like,
physical thing.
Yeah, even like the Joker. I mean, obviously that's supposed to be like clown makeup, but yeah, he's got pale face too when they do the full makeup thing. So yeah.
Interesting.
I wanted the psychology behind that, but yeah, probably just because it's
It
like
feels like
clown
something
related.
that someone would have had to unpack by now. But it is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I will say one of the biggest downsides to that first one that I didn't like is one of the kid actors I like did not like in the first one.
Oh, Robin.
And that was Robin.
Interesting.
I don't know. It felt
That
like he was
surprised
maybe
me.
a little miscast because he's so like much smaller and a little frail for the type of role that he's playing, like big and tough.
Interesting.
I don't know. I remember watching that the first time and being like, this is the tough kid in school. And like, not that you can't be like, on the shorter side in tough, but like, it felt like the physique wasn't there either. It's just kind of, it felt like an odd choice at the time. I still think it's an interesting choice on my rewatch. And it doesn't bother me nearly as much. But I think having that note going into the second one, when we start talking on the second one, I'll talk about it, but it is crazy specifically on that point going into the second one.
Okay.
And then I think the setting is super cool, just like that super simple room, all the stuff that's hidden in there. I remember that being kind of like the pitch of the movie is like escaping and building off of the plans that the kids before you had. I think that was super interesting.
Yeah.
I think the dream scenarios all were super cool, and then they all kind of share the Sinister-esque kind of like sound and editing, which I love.
Yeah. Well, and then we haven't mentioned yet the sister, Gwen.
Sister Gwen.
She brings a lot of like the supernatural elements in it too. More like witch-like with the premonitions and the visions and the dreams and all the things that she gets. I also found really interesting on my rewatch, kind of comparing their father being abusive to them, and then I don't know why it almost seemed like there's a conversation there about the commentary comparing him and the grabber.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any like thoughts we want to get into that?
Oh, for sure. I think it's very interesting looking at this first one. And clearly there's a theme about like surviving, I would say like through trauma.
Yeah.
Whereas in the second one, when we get into that, it's clearly about kind of getting past the trauma that's already happened to you. And I think that's a really great 1-2 punch that I think I truly think that theme is what's really selling the purpose of making the second movie for a lot of people.
Yeah.
As compared to, oh, that movie did well, let's give it a sequel.
Yeah.
I think it's like the Shrek 2 effect, where it's like, why are you having a sequel? And is it like a clear follow-up to what was happening in the first movie, even if it's something completely different? I really compare to Shrek 2 whenever something's getting a sequel, where it's like, is this something that like is completely like out of the blue, left field, this is happening now, or is it like something that is clearly the next chapter of what was in your original? I think that's not always necessarily the best indicator, but I think that's a really solid indicator for if a sequel is like quote unquote good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, myself included, were very surprised when a sequel was announced because it just seemed like one of those that didn't need one. But I'm so glad we got it. I feel like this should be a part of the conversation of the standard that you should have when trying to do a sequel. Not that this film is perfect, but I think it's solid. I think it's purposeful. I think it should be here. I'm very glad this was made. I will say I wish maybe the trailer pitched it a little bit better. I do feel like I was surprised by the direction they were taking when watching the film because I didn't quite get that in the trailer. But I don't think the trailer was bad, but I
actually like as soon as I saw the trailer for the first time and the idea that the grabber was going to be the ghost on the phone now, I actually thought that was a great pitch for a sequel.
Yeah.
And then I'm just really glad that they were able to kind of back up the heart with it as well.
I also liked, kind of back to the conversation comparing the two men, I like how it kind of sets Finney up because he already, I mean, nobody likes abusive men, nobody likes kidnappers, obviously, but I feel like he almost is able to have that drive he needs to survive and get out in the end because he's built up so much anger watching his father hurt him and his sister, that fuels him. He kind of sees his father in the grabber. Obviously the father doesn't go that far to kidnap and kill kids, but I think he's able to kind of channel that and motivate him, even though he's never been a fighter, he's never been aggressive. He's also a small, skinny kid. Like, the odds are against him. So I think that's really cool. It's not just that motivates him. Obviously, the other kids heavily motivate him at several times, but I don't know. I like that conversation. So
no, absolutely. I think that is done really well.
Yeah. I also do love the shift in conversation for the sequel, just like the healing part of it. How that still haunts you, how that haunts your whole family, and it changes your whole family dynamic. That motivated their father to get sober so he wouldn't be so drunk and angry and abusive all the time. He's actually like a good father in this film, which is crazy.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I quite like him, but he definitely is trying, and I think that's nice. I mean, I think that's the goal.
I think that's a really important sentiment.
Yeah.
And I would say I wish it was maybe explored a little more, I think especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
That it's not okay to like have done the wrong thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always okay to start doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think even with as polarizing as these times are, I think it's really important to allow the room for people to genuinely want to change
Yeah.
their actions
Yeah.
and try and be better. I think it's really important to hold space for that.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to still acknowledge the things that they've done, and still find a way to move forward. And I think
Yeah.
this film actually does that very interesting with the dad, even though I think it's very, like, it's one of the back burner plot lines.
Yeah.
But I think it's very interesting that it was included here.
Yeah. And I feel like you still see that within the kids. Like, they're not just besties now because he's not abusive to them. There's definitely still, like, resentment there. There's definitely still, like, maybe not quite fear. I never really get that from
There's
them
definitely
anymore.
like a wall
But
between them.
yes. And it's one that might never come down, but they are still able to now coexist much better than before. And, you know, the kids are still motivating him to not relapse and everything. So I think that's good. They're doing the best they can. So I think that's a great message. So, yeah.
Sure. Before we get too much deeper, we've definitely already started talking about the Black
Oh
Phone
my gosh,
too.
yes.
But I love a natural segue.
Yeah.
I did want to real quick go into just ranking our Scott Derrickson films that we have seen.
Yeah. I've only seen 4
I have also only
as
seen
well.
4. I
We've
feel
seen
like,
the same 4.
Yes. I feel like it's a little crazy that he's only done these 4, but they're like really solid for me.
Yeah, he hasn't really done much else.
He's
I've
done one of
seen.
like apparently one of the like the later Hellraiser movies,
Mm-hmm.
which I like just bought all of them, so I eventually will see it.
Okay.
And I think that's gonna be a crazy one to add to his roster.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really wish he was working a little more,
Mm-hmm.
especially because
I
like his
agree.
original stuff that he's done, like his non-franchise stuff, has like been pretty iconic.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to get us started off?
Sure. I also want to say that I like all 4 of these films. All of these films are 3 stars and up for me. So, go him. It's honestly, it's not one of those rankings where it's like bad to good. It's like just good to great, I would say. So I'm just going to list it off like in a row. Number 4, I put the first Black Phone movie. I put this at 3 stars. And then I put the Doctor Strange movie. I feel like this movie's interesting because a lot of people love this film, but I've never been overly obsessed with Doctor Strange as a person. I love his powers, but I think he's always had that like Tony Stark arrogance to him without the humor and charm. So that's been an interesting like relationship in my mind with this character. I think the first one's solid, but I know some people are out there and they love this film and they think it's one of the best like debut films for a character. So I don't know. Then I put Sinister as my number 2. I thought Sinister was great. Another film of his with Ethan Hawke, which is fun. I feel like I never thought about that till I listed it. I was like, oh yeah.
And the grabber's brother is the cop in that movie.
Right.
So they return
That's
in
fun.
both of these.
And then I put The Black Phone 2.
Interesting.
I personally really liked The Black Phone 2, although they're only half a star away, those top 2 films.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Huh.
Very close. And I could totally understand switching it. So
Interesting. I don't think ours is. This is like one of our first lists that are like completely a different
very
order.
different. Interesting. Okay.
At number 4, I have The Black Phone 2. I think it's solid,
Interesting.
but like yeah, I think it's still a really good movie. Then The Black Phone at number 3. At number 2, I have Doctor Strange. The people who like absolutely adore this movie are in the room with you. I'm so sorry. And then at number 1, I have Sinister. It is, I think, one of the best horror movies. It's certainly one of, if not my favorite horror movie. So I absolutely adore it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pretty
Mr.
fun.
The Boogeyman, also another white-faced horror icon.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna think about this whole video.
A little bit,
and
but
that's
whatever.
gonna be fun. Yeah.
But yeah, I've super loved his work. Whenever I watched Sinister was the first time I was like, I need to like be tracking what this director's doing, and I was like, oh my gosh, he did Doctor Strange, and I loved Doctor Strange. So, going into The Black Phone, I don't think I knew he was the director of The Black Phone, or if he did, I kind of forgot it by the time I watched it, because I didn't watch it in theaters. I ended up watching it, I think when it ended up on streaming at some point.
I don't know if I saw it in theaters. That's actually a good question. I need to think about. I also feel like I didn't. I don't know.
But, Black Phone 2, so I guess that's like his second film that I've seen in theaters.
Yeah.
But still very fun. Very fun. Boom, 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 boom. So going into The Black Phone 2, I want to get started with our positives. Clear, it's your favorite of his films. What are some of your favorite parts of it?
I adore that this feels like Gwen's film. I think that's a fun shift, and I think that actress is honestly like so great. I think her cries and her screams were like made for horror. It's one of those things where I think it worked really well when she was younger for the first film, and I was wondering if it would work in this film, and I feel like it still does. I don't know. It just seems so genuine and sad when she's crying or scared or whatever. I also think, well, this is not a positive, so I'll get into that later. Anyways, not her fault. Anyways.
No, she definitely does have a killer horror movie scream.
Yeah,
and like cry.
For sure. It's very unique too. It's not just like screaming bloody murder. It's like her own thing, and I love that. I think
there's
it's
like a scream
unique.
with like the sadness infused in it. That is very, very unique to her, I would say.
Yeah.
At least in the way she does it.
Yeah. I also just think her ability is very interesting. I think when they switch to those dream sequences, 1, I love how they do it visually. And 2, I just think that they're interesting to watch. I will say it, this film has something with scratching nails on ice, and that has irked me like no other. It is actually like disturbed my mood sometimes. Every time I think about this film, I like cringe because I'm like that. It's like when I watched Spencer with Kristen Stewart, and she like pinches herself with some like garden shears on the arm, and she starts bleeding. I'm like, that I feel that pain. Even though I have long nails, so I would never it would be so different if I were to scratch against ice. I don't know. I can feel that pain. Anyways, and that happened like every dream sequence. So anytime I learned after the first one, I was like, plug my ears, close my eyes. So anyways, but I do think that was really, really interesting. Very interesting concepts to get them to this new location. I think it's interesting that she can get hurt in dreams, and the way they do that, sometimes they shoot it where you see it right away. Sometimes I like when she's in his old house in like the basement, and she's crawling, and he like hits her with the axe. I don't know why. That was like not satisfying to watch, but it was like very creepy. It like gave me chills. I was like, oh my god. Also, ow. I think that one shot in the trailer where we think there's blood spewing from her neck, and then like realizing where it's coming from the arm wound from the axe in the film is interesting because that was so crazy in the trailer. It's like, oh, so she's dying. But then we realize it's her arm and we're like, oh, no, it's just a deep arm wound.
It's giving, like in the trailer, I remember having the thought, it's like releasing a Beyblade.
Yeah, no, it is. That's literally what he did to her when she was in the phone booth. He like spun it up and then was like, "Rah!" Yeah. So, anyways, that was crazy. I'm trying to.
Do you mind if I jump in with some of my favorite stuff?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love that this film feels like it has a lot of inspiration to like other great horror films. Like obviously with the dream stuff, it's giving Freddy Krueger a lot with like Nightmare on Elm Street, specifically with the if you die in the dream, you die in real life. That's right out of the movie because you haven't seen any of this, right?
I don't think so. Maybe the first one, but I would need to rewatch it basically.
Yeah, I actually just rewatched the first one, and I watched the second one for the first time.
Yeah,
and it's very interesting seeing
the shift.
It's incredibly similar in that regard. And then like the camp aspect brings some like Nightmare, Friday the 13th.
Yeah, lots of even just this year we have Hell of a Summer also at a camp. So
camp is a great place for horror.
It is.
I think I'm trying to think if there's like Sixth Sense. I would say even like Conjuring with the dreams, the seeing the ghosts.
Yeah.
Some great stuff, for sure.
Ooh. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, all the inspirations.
Yeah. I also, saying The Conjuring made me think, because they do a lot of jump scares, and I feel like this movie and the first movie, I feel like really don't. But from what I can remember, they don't really do much jump scares. I guess the one scene where the camp counselor's on the phone, or trying to get on the phone, and then the snow on the window. But I feel like it's not a cheap jump scare. I feel like it's a good jump scare.
For sure.
So, yeah, that's actually really interesting. Props to these movies because some movies heavily rely on cheap jump scares. The Woman in the Yard. So, yeah, props to this movie for not having to rely on that.
No, absolutely. And I kind of feel that way with him as a director in general, because I think Sinister, only has like one really big jump scare that I can think of. Everything else I think is built up masterfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree. I think being able to make a scary movie based on the story and the structure and your set, I think that is not always easy. And I think you can tell when some people aren't able to do that. And it's love seeing somebody able to really kind of master that a little. I want to say master. I think he does great work.
Yeah, I agree. There's one shot. I feel like he has great camera work here. There's one shot in particular where Finney, I think, is talking to the camp counselor, and they're on like these logs or benches or something, and it like pivots around. I don't know why. I love when I like know that a camera's moving a certain way. It just makes me think like, ugh, I love that how films are made. Like it makes me think of the artistry of it, and I immediately love it. It's just also visually interesting rather than just like, they could have just shot it where one person's talking and then switch to the other, like a lot of movies do. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's fun when
it's more creative.
Yeah,
like especially because I don't know what film we were watching, but I remember being like, it is crazy how many cuts we're watching in this movie right now. Because it was like a conversation thing. It was like, boop, 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 for like a really long time.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember either, but I know what you're talking about because I remember you saying that. And you were right. You were so valid for that.
But no, I really like it when directors are able to find different ways to kind of move the camera around. And different kind of way to have the audience perspective on a situation. I think it's always something worth recognizing and applauding. Specifically, that reminds me of like in the phone booth. I really love the shots where like it would like spin around and you would like see the kids, and then they get like closer. I think they did a lot of great stuff rotating around that dang phone booth.
Yeah. When they have the phone booth and the kids are like way, way, way in the background, and they reveal them one by one by just panning out, and you know that they're gonna keep doing that. I love that. I think that's a great way to build anticipation. Again, interesting camera work. I also really love any of the like the montage scenes where they just kind of like splice little scenes, little shots together. I think they kind of do that in the intro when kind of introducing the camp and what's maybe going on there. They do that sometimes in the dream sequences, like when we're going through how each of the kids die.
And that
I
also
think that's
feels
very
very
fun.
sinister with like the home films.
Oh my gosh, yes. Ugh, that is a good movie. But yeah.
No,
Very, very
completely
fun.
agree. On a performance that I particularly loved, and I actually didn't realize this until we got home after watching it. I don't think we've talked about it. But Miguel Mora, who plays Ernesto,
Oh my god.
he's so great in this movie, and I did not realize that he also played his brother in the first one.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Robin's brother.
Yeah, he played Robin in the first movie.
Oh. Wait, that's the same actor?
That's the same actor.
That's crazy.
I remember being
Wait.
like, what? Especially because, like, I still, like, have a little bit of a thing with him in the first movie. In any case, I think it's just a little bit of a bummer that I think, especially next to Mason Thames, I don't think the performance was quite there. But here, like, I think he's, like, my favorite performance, I would say, after Ethan Hawke.
Ooh. Yeah, I can see that. I feel like I do want to shout out Mason Thames as well, though.
For sure.
That's crazy, though, that they're the same actor. I'm so glad you pointed that out. Good for him. That, like, immediately shows range. So, hope he gets more work. I can't remember who he reminds me of. I'm going to think on it anytime you talk. But he reminds me of something.
In this one, he has a charm to him that kind of reminds me of the Blue Beetle actor. But a little less action.
A little bit of him, but it's someone specific. It's someone, like, with glasses and braces. They look very similar. Who knows? Maybe it was him at this point. Apparently, I don't know faces, I guess. I'll have to think about it. Because I don't even know if it's in a show or movie. That's how much I'd have to think about it.
No.
But I do want to shout out Mason Thames. I think he has one scene in particular when Gwen is really getting at him for, like, not facing his trauma, and he just kind of explodes. I think he does that really, really well. Oh my god, it was so sad and uncomfortable watching him just, like, break down. But I feel like you believe it, even though he is clearly bearing, like, facing his trauma. Smoking, like, fighting, trying to do all these things to avoid really diving deep into it. I think you can still see that buildup there of he is thinking about it. It is all he thinks about, even as he's actively trying to avoid it. I also think it's great, that whole little section of the monologue where he's just saying, like, I don't want to be angry anymore. I just don't want to be scared anymore. I think that's very great.
No,
so,
for sure. It reminds me of
delivered
this.
really well.
I can't remember who I've heard talk about it, but the idea that anger is, like, not a base emotion. So it always kind of comes from something else. And I think I just thought about that a lot this movie, and about how so much of the anger that these characters, especially Finney, it feels comes from fear, and I think that's portrayed really well.
Yeah.
I would say this is my favorite performance that he's given.
Yeah, I think so too. Just off the top of my head. I also think it'd be really fun to see him, some of his, like, press tour. Specifically, I'm thinking of How to Train Your Dragon. And now also he's starting to promote Regretting You. He's gonna have, like, back-to-back weekends, which is fun for him. Some of the things he wears, I'm like, I need to see him in, like, White Lotus or something.
Oh, he'd
I
kill
think
White
he'd be
Lotus.
so fun.
I feel
I
like
need to
he's
see him,
not-
like, as a rich, snobby person. I need to see that performance from him.
I don't know. I feel like I could see him doing some more, like I think he could continue doing some great stuff in horror. We're gonna see how he does in teen rom-com in a second, with this next weekend.
I mean, he's already being set up for greatness, considering he's actively dating the person he's gonna be with in the movie.
Yeah.
So
It's very interesting and it feels like he's kind of, like, able to it feels like he has a lot of freedom with
does.
where he is right now. So he,
Because then he plays Hiccup.
yeah, the world is his
God.
oyster right now.
Yeah.
I hope him and whoever his management team is planning effectively.
Yeah,
Because I think he could continue to be a huge star in the future.
I agree. You brought up at some point, I think earlier when we were talking about just horror films, that there's a lot of scream queens, of course. There's a lot of final girls, but there's not a lot of talk about final guys or whatever you want to call it, or scream kings. I don't know. There's not even a name for them really. So if there is one, what are some of the ones you would say should be in that conversation? Would Finney be a part of that conversation?
I would say so. I would say especially like out of the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know if Scream King, because I think it's very because I think a lot of this conversation came because I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which has come to be recognized as a very queer-coded and basically kind of queer story with its main character. Its kind of premise is Freddy wants to like take over his body to come out into the real world, and so there's this evil person that he becomes, and it hurts his family and his relationships, and he's trying to like hide it away, and there's a lot of not subtle subtext with that, and specific and there's like this like jock friend character that he has this like weird relationship with, very very interesting, but apparently around 2010 he was like officially labeled the first Scream Queen man, or like because he was a teenager, played a teenager at the time. I think that's super cool. And so in this, I think it transitions a little differently into like surviving male roles, because I think like especially the term like Scream Queen comes from someone who has like a killer like I'm being killed scream. Yeah. And that guy has it. Like it is hype. It is. He goes for it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So, but especially because I think it's very common in media, especially U.S. media, to see men be more like contained within their emotions, and like when it comes out, it's like as a big like release of emotion because it's been bottled up for a long time. I think Mason Thames in the first one and this one too, I would say, kills that perspective.
Yeah.
Other standouts, I would say like maybe some of like the It kids would be in that category.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other good ones.
I mean, it's hard because I do feel like, obviously Scream Queens is because it's mostly women. They kind of like run that whole world. Whoa. So.
I think there's I forget his name, but the officer from like the Scream movies that lasted a long time.
Oh. Not Dewey.
I think it is Dewey, actually.
It is?
It's Dewey or something very similar.
Yeah.
I could see him being in that conversation. We just talked about a bunch of horror icons, but not a lot of them that like.
Because a lot of them are villains. A lot of the guys in those movies are the villains. So.
I think. It's definitely like a short list of like the men final girl-esque.
Yeah.
I would say maybe in Evil Dead, when they like Evil Dead 2 with Ash, when they like completely redo the first one and it's a bit less misogynistic. I would say he maybe counts there. But yeah, it's an interesting question. I'll definitely be thinking on that one.
Y'all let us know if we're leaving any obvious ones out.
Cause I fear we probably
I feel like we are. Well, a lot of the ones I'm thinking of, I'm trying to think of like, maybe like, I don't know. A lot of the ones I'm thinking about, one, are in a group of survivors. And then, so I feel like they don't really even fit in that category, because I feel like the whole point is it's supposed to be one final survivor. Or two, it's like, oh wait, I forgot the second thing that I was going to say.
Yeah, looking at Final Boys. Oh, Child's Play is a good one. with Chucky and the kid that he's like after, and then the
Right.
franchise circulates mostly about him still being obsessed with that kid as he grows up.
Yeah.
Someone put Jaws. The first Final Destination, although I think we've got some.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a ton, even on this one with like all kinds of stuff. I see Cabin in the Woods, which
Maybe, I mean, I guess kinda.
Fright Night.
Thing's a good one.
Yeah.
Although he's a man.
Ugh. Yeah. Oh, that makes me think of The Mist as well.
Oh, but that's like, that one's like in a different category because it's like, oh, you survived.
But yeah.
No, that's actually a really
like
funny
its own
inclusion.
thing.
Child's
The
Play.
Long Walk.
Ooh, but I don't.
R.I.P.
That's adjacent, I would say.
Yeah. Because it's not really. That's not really horror.
For sure.
So.
Circling us back, any other
Best parts. I know we covered a lot of them.
I mean,
really-
I'm sure there's more.
Okay.
I liked the camp people. I mean, obviously the two like annoying older couple, but they served their purpose well. Very accurate. So I loved when they got gagged. They were like, "That's not very Christian of you," and that's all they needed to say. And I was like, "Period." Our audience was so good though. I feel like they were so with it. They were like, "Mm-hmm, exactly." They laughed at the right parts. Like, our audience was fun. I was a little worried because some people came in late and
Oh
they
my
were kind of
gosh.
obnoxious. But then they sat down and they shut up. So I was like, whatever. You came in late and that was obnoxious, and you had something playing on your phone and then you laughed at it instead of quickly turning it off. But then they sat down and they were fine the rest of the time. So you know what?
I
It's
was
okay.
also very nervous.
Me too. I was like, are we about... Because also there was only one person there. There wasn't even... I don't even know if there was a manager there. So it's like we couldn't even like get somebody. We know those people at the movie theater and they're like, we got your back if anything ever happens. So...
Yeah.
But anyways.
Let's go ahead and move on to
Any worst parts of this movie?
I don't
Parts
know.
you didn't particularly enjoy?
The nail stuff. Fuck y'all for that because that's literally gonna haunt me for a while.
You know what I would add to this section? I would say in the first one, I particularly liked kind of unpacking each victim. Like, we get a little bit about them.
True.
Like, they don't remember themselves. So, like, I think it's really interesting to see kind of, like, the core of who they were.
Yeah.
And, like, what remains after you die. I think that's a really interesting, and even, like, a beautiful sentiment. I wish we saw a little bit more of that here.
I will say that's a very good point. It's unfortunate because I feel like part of the reason the first film's able to do that well is because the audience already knows and has a little bit connected to two of the victims, the opening one and then later Robin. This film, obviously, they died decades ago, so there's, I mean, I guess they could have done a flashback. That honestly might have been a thing they could have done. As their opening, they could have done a flashback scene. But I feel like they maybe replace it with the mom because they
Sure.
flashback to her a lot. They do her story a lot. They talk about her when she was young at that camp. Yeah. I'm not saying, that makes it any better. I still think I would have loved to see more about those kids. I think that's a great point. Yeah, interesting that I feel like they probably replace it with the mom.
I also, in the movie, I thought we were leading up to, like, with finding the body, the whole, like, their bodies. I thought the whole thing was going to be, like, all the different places around camp that he hid them. Ultimately, they all ended up in the lake. But, like, I thought, like, if they were broken out to different places, I thought that would have been an interesting way to kind of be, like, maybe spend a little bit more time specifically, like, on each of the boys.
Yeah, and that could have raised the stakes a little. Well, I mean, the stakes were pretty high
I think
anyways, but they could have, split up because of that, and that could have been scary.
Yeah, I think that could have given them more, like, fun scenes to do, like the grabber showing up at different locations, like in the woods. Like, maybe you see him, like, popping in between, like, trees randomly.
Ugh.
I love the lake and the ice skating scene.
And they teased that by saying he was really good at hockey, so, I mean, it makes sense, and that is a good hiding place. But yeah, I agree. That could have been fun to see. I'm not necessarily like mad at
No, I'm
it,
not at
but
I'm not at a loss for that aspect, but
I
I do
coulda
wish we
saw
spent a little
it.
bit more time with the kids.
yeah.
Like,
I
as, you know,
Yeah, we know how they died, but just any part of their personality at all would have been nice, I think.
and then also another, maybe less of an issue, more of a wish. I wish that the whole, like, kind of finale climax thing was a little less action heavy.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
I love most of that sequence. I don't know. It feels a little, I don't know if maybe on the nose is the right term, but to have it end with, you know, Finney slamming his ghost face into the ice and then he gets dragged down. I like the idea of him getting dragged down, but kind of getting into a fist fight with a ghost feels maybe a tad silly in what I think otherwise is a pretty serious toned movie.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when they're talking about, like, not wanting to feel angry or scared, like, but then you end with beating him up. I mean, yeah. I don't know. There's something there.
I
feel
like,
it's
especially with the idea of, like, moving on and, like, trying to, like, settle with what's happened to you in the past, but no, it doesn't define you. Like, it feels like there's a lot more of, like, a just don't give it your energy kind of solution to that it feels, a little weird that it ended so aggressively right before it ended.
Yeah. Also, another thing I thought about that was more annoying and not a crazy big con, because they did drop it. But they were, like, for, like, a good, like, 15-20 minutes of the film, they were, like, obsessed with the whole, like, girls had to sleep in the girl dorm. And I feel like they talked about it too much. And I was like, how is she sleeping by herself in the dorm? And then she gets attacked and she still is, like, being reprimanded. And I'm like, y'all got bigger things going on here. But they did drop it after that. Especially once everybody saw her get attacked. I think they didn't mention it at all after that. Thank God.
I actually love the effects on that scene as well. Like,
yeah.
Specifically, like, whenever, like, the kids show up in her bunk the first time, and then whenever she gets attacked by the grabber, I think great scenes.
Yeah. There was something else with her, but it was good. So, yeah. That was the only, like, it was more annoying than anything. I'm
And
like,
I will say,
this is so, like, 70s or whatever.
I agree on that note. I feel like an easy fix would just be to say she sleepwalks, and if she walks out in the snow, there's no telling where she'll end up.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an easy fix, actually.
Yeah, or I wish they could have at least had some other woman, like, sleep in the same dorm. Like, some sort of supervisor.
I forget her Mustang.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, she's talking about, like, I have to go sleep in this cabin over here, and it's like, so, like,
Do
what if
you?
she, like, couldn't be left alone? Because there are kids that, like, shouldn't be left alone at a camp.
Well, and she's a minor. I'm like, I feel like she shouldn't be left alone, like, point blank period. So, I don't know. That was silly. I guess because they were supposed to have the camp counselors come down but I don't know. That seems silly to me.
Very.
I agree.
Also something I loved was I loved her and Ernesto. I think first of all, they were so cute. Two, he was so sweet. I think he's a great addition. I feel like Until Dawn had a little bit of that dynamic with the Love Victor guy and the main girl. But I feel like this one did it better.
Sure.
So.
Now, it's giving, like, the earliest stages of the Conjuring couple. I can't remember their name. Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah.
It's giving that. And
It
I
is.
love that.
She's very much giving Lorraine, for sure.
She's giving
She just
a
goes
lot more
through-
vulgar Lorraine, which
Yeah.
I think it's almost like
And she goes through a lot more violence.
It's a very vulgar Lorraine performance, and I actually think that's very fun.
Yeah. Very true.
Especially because she, like, still she still prays, but she's, you know, very vocal, and she's very angry. Pretty rightfully so.
Yeah.
But, love that for her. It's a very unique role.
Yeah.
Other to think of any other worst parts. How does the whole inclusion of the mom storyline, and I'm going to say like specifically that the grabber killed their mom.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that fits here in this story?
I actually do. I actually kind of hated that they did the whole she was crazy so she killed herself. It's giving like hysterical woman, and I don't like that screams misogyny to me. So I'm very glad that they fixed that. I'm sure they didn't fix that because they got any hate. I've never seen anybody say anything about that for that movie. But I personally am very happy with that change. I will say she was a dumbass for going to that house without calling the police. Dumbass. That's crazy. But whatever. That's the only thing that I hated.
That's fair.
I hate when they like make people look dumb. Especially women. I'm like, even in that time where things weren't quite like children could play outside and they probably wouldn't get kidnapped versus like, I mean, unlike that movie.
Bad movie to have that
Yeah.
point on.
But it's like you're going to a person's house that you suspect is a serial killer. You have reason to be afraid, and you're a woman, so you probably already have your guard up most of the time anyways. Especially at night, going to a stranger's house. I'm like, that's just, you are not that dumb. I just don't believe it. And we have no reason to think she would be, so that was the only part of that whole thing that I did not like. But I do like that not only he killed her, but that he killed her still like in their house. Like he brought her back there to, that's crazy. Smart move by him also. Gotta give him that, because I'm like, yeah, that's a good setup, I guess. So
No, and with the first one going into the second one and this reveal of the mom didn't commit suicide, I think it's very interesting. I think clearly the family and everyone kind of drawing connections between the mom and the daughter. It's very purposeful.
I also love how it's not gonna, now Gwen doesn't have to fear that her dreams are gonna drive her insane, because that's not what happened to her mom. So I also really love that for her. I wish maybe they said that. She had that conversation of like, am I always gonna have this curse? And her mom saying it's not a curse, but they didn't ever have that, I think, like obvious question of like,
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of implied with that.
yeah, I do feel like they definitely touched on it. I think, I don't know. I'm surprised we never heard like Finney think about that. Like he's obviously very protective over his sister. And you know, he tries to tell her like they're just dreams. They're like just go back to bed. Like it's not a big deal. But I don't know. I feel like you would think after thinking your mom went insane, that you would be a little bit more like, let's talk about this. Let's like talk through this. But I mean, he's not in,
This
I guess
family.
he's you know, in this film, he's not in a place to do that. So I guess, you know, that's a good point too. So I don't know.
No, I wonder, because I feel like the first one doesn't super call for a sequel, like inherently. But I feel like, given the role
That I forget her name, but our main girl,
Madeline
that
McGraw?
that Gwen has in the movie, clearly supposed to feel empowered by this gift that she has. It feels kind of like this. It feels almost, that's like the biggest note to me, that he thought he would maybe be able to continue the story at some point. Because with the idea that it ultimately worked and she found her brother with the tool and was able to like do so much good with it, but then still with that back note of she was so lenient leading into it because of her mom and what that led her father to do, kind of the notion now that everyone has on what that means for this family. It does make me wonder if maybe there was an element that was supposed to be in the first movie that ended up being saved for this movie. Honestly, that element alone is probably something that probably had them early on in the first movie being like, well, this is something we could definitely explore in the second movie because we don't know exactly where that fits here.
Yeah.
So, and ultimately, even though I asked the question, I think it does fit well, especially looking at, like, the backstory of where the grabber came from and how he started.
Yeah.
You know, it also kind of is a prelude to how these characters got started as well. So I think it's very interesting to see those tied on. However, I think it adds another layer to when that scene in the first one when he finds out his name.
Yeah.
And I love that scene. He like comes out of the shadows and he has the frowny face already on after he lies.
Yeah.
Ate that up.
Ugh.
Scary.
The only other, I think, it's kind of random, but I just thought of it. I feel it's so quick too. It's such a small thing. But Mustang to me never ever in the entire movie gave the impression that one, she was a minor because she's not a camp counselor. She was saying she can't sleep in the dorms and all the things. So I always felt like she was like a young adult. And then two, that her and Finney ever had a thing. So then the line that like, oh, look at Mustang. It felt really random and a little bit gross to me. I'm like, I guess that means she's a minor, but I also, I don't know, because it is back then, so maybe not.
I got the impression that she was around his age.
I don't know. Maybe it's...
But it was also just, I don't know, such a subtext, well, in the fact that neither of them were ever thinking about each other that way.
Yeah. It just felt like a little bit of a random comment.
Well, but that's dad's for you.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's a girl my son's age that's existing in the general place of him. You guys must like each other. You must like her. That is a very dad move. Yeah.
So I remember before we saw this movie being kind of warned beforehand that this is very different from the first one.
Really?
I don't know if I
don't know if I
completely
ever
agree
saw
with
that.
that sentiment.
I don't think so. I think it builds off the first one. I think, obviously it's different in the fact that no one's being kidnapped in the film, but he's still being haunted by this guy. I think it's similar enough. It's not quite like a Megan 1, Megan 2 situation.
Great analogy.
And that does it a lot of favors as well, I think. So that's interesting. I can see what they're coming from. Very different, I think, is dramatic. But I think there are different elements. I'll give them that.
I would maybe almost say with the idea, like we were saying with the first one, where like the paranormal elements are like on the antagonist side. It does switch that here with him going and being a ghost this movie. So maybe that's kind of the perspective that they're taking. It goes more from like something thriller-esque with paranormal activities to evil ghost guy.
Yeah.
So maybe I can see him from that perspective, but I think tonally it's very much from the same cloth.
Yeah. So I agree.
We talked about the theme of getting past trauma. I think
Ooh.
The inclusion here was great. Go
Yes. Also, with that, I don't have much to say. It just every time we talk about that, it reminds me of Mystic River, and I need to get you to watch that.
Right.
It is very sad though. It's a very heavy film, so you just have to be prepared for that. But very similar. It's like about a group of boys, that are hanging out one day. I don't know what they're doing, playing, whatever. They're young boys. And then one of them gets kidnapped. So, and then it's like jumps to years later, when he's no longer kidnapped, he's still alive. And then they're just kind of reeling from that trauma. There's a death. Someone's daughter in that group of guys, gets like brutally murdered. And they're trying to figure out who did it. Some people think the guy who got kidnapped did it because he was traumatized and now has like kind of a toxic thinking there, but it also very much explores a different side of that. So it has more of like a mystery element, but it also, I think, for sure talks about trauma stuff. It has Sean Penn, it has Kevin Bacon. It has, you haven't seen Shameless.
I've seen like the first 2 seasons.
Oh, okay. Then it has Fiona, the actress, in it. So,
Fair.
yeah, and some others that you would know. It has a pretty good cast. I watched it for a film class. It was very good. So it has some similar elements, but it's not horror. It's definitely, it takes a more like mystery turn than horror because they're trying to figure out who killed the person. So
For sure.
anyways.
Back to
Like the getting past trauma theme.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very interesting to have your character still be haunted by the person that they killed. And I feel like there's an example of a movie that was like this. Like, I jumped to, like, Thor in Endgame, and then Thanos comes back. And, like, the idea that he's still haunted by losing, and just because he killed him doesn't mean that he won. Can you think of any other movie that's similar to this? I feel like I'm missing a big one.
I know you are for sure. I feel like there's like a girl that I need to think of.
Like, it's maybe a little bit like Sidney Campbell from Scream-ish, how Ghostface keeps returning.
Yeah. I feel like there's like a very similar theme though. Like there's like a girl who was kidnapped and haunted by that, or like an abuser or something, or she killed her husband, or I don't know.
It's very interesting, but
I do feel like I'm forgetting a really big one.
it's an interesting theme that I enjoy here.
Well, I mean, you have. This is like loose. This is not who I'm thinking of. But we were just watching Gen V, so I guess we have like Marie killing her parents. But that's not who I was trying to think of. I don't even know why I thought about that. But she just like killed someone and it haunts her. So I guess that's something. But I feel like there's a girl that kills somebody and then it's like a vision. Wait.
Waiting.
Dead Boy Detectives. That's one. That's not who I was thinking of. But there's a girl that's haunted by the Cam Cameron guy. Is that in Dead Boy Detectives?
That is. He's a demon.
Yeah. But she like got rid of him or like out of her head and then he keeps trying to get back in her head. So that's something.
Yes, that's something. Okay, I like it.
Again, not who I was thinking of, but some, slight examples there.
I next wanted to talk about something
I think of like all the time, which is the fact that the second Doctor Strange movie was originally supposed to be directed by Scott Derrickson.
Listen, I know that both of us are, probably more the odd ones out overall. Because I know a lot of people love this film.
It's
And
still,
I
I would
think-
say Multiverse of Madness is still controversial. Like, it has its
Yeah.
fans for sure, but
Yeah.
I would say has like still an equal amount of haters.
Okay.
And regardless, I would say both sides love Wanda,
That's very true. Everybody.
which is why it got so much money.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's that solo film? Anyways, I think it's also very interesting that he left for creative differences. And I have to wonder why, because this has so many horror elements, which is right up his alley. So I wonder if it had to do with Wanda that he left, or maybe he just didn't like some of the people he was working with. I have to he would never answer that question if I were ever to be in the opportunity to ask. But
I'd have to try. I would
Yeah.
have to try because
Yeah.
I don't know how much you heard about what it was originally supposed to be. But the
I mean,
villain,
I know it wasn't supposed to be Wanda as the villain, but then they were like, why would we let someone else do that?
But the antagonist was
roll.
supposed to be a character named Nightmare, and he's like
Yeah.
essentially like Dream from Sandman,
Mm-hmm.
but very pale and green. And I think you can see a lot of elements of what could have been in that movie here, specifically like with your ghost antagonist, going through flashbacks. I think there's a lot of style choices here.
Mm-hmm.
Dreams. I think it's just a very interesting parallel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because I feel like Doctor Strange 2, I can almost very clearly see why people like the film, but I just think it's for the wrong reasons. I think they like it because there's a lot of Wanda, and people love Wanda. And I love Wanda. I think she's great in that film, but I just can't get out of my mind that that's such a jump and that there's stuff missing.
I would go to say that she's great in the film, despite the film.
Yes. Yeah.
And the film doesn't set her up for success. It is completely counterintuitive to her larger arc. and it's crazy women syndrome where we see her dealing with her stuff, and then all of a sudden she's crazy now and she's psycho. There's clear things that she'd be doing instead of this to get her end goal, but we don't see her rationalizing why she has to go through this. She's possessed by the Darkhold, but we maybe see that be proved for like 3 seconds. Otherwise, everyone's just saying it to you to try and gaslight you to believe that's why this movie's happening. It's very visually interesting.
Yeah, and I still love the fight where he has like the music notes. It's toward the end. I love when he becomes a zombie. Like, visually very interesting. There's small scenes that I love. I love when she's fighting the Illuminati. I have a lot of other problems with that entire scene or sequence of whatever. So I can understand where people feel good about this film, so they think they love it. Because there's a lot of things that can make you feel good, but then the things that make me feel bad just completely outweigh the good for me.
And specifically, I can't handle, like, the thing that just, like, completely ruins the movie for me at the end is, like, basically telling Wanda at the end of this journey, especially after WandaVision, where she's dealing with grief and the idea of, like, taking that out on the people around you. That's not healthy. You have to come to the conclusion of what you've lost. And now here she is doing the same thing, but much worse and very, actively doing harm to people for basically the same cause.
Yeah.
But now the solution here is don't heal yourself, kill yourself. I cannot stand that at all.
It's giving, like, Woman in the Yard.
Yeah.
That's my big problem about that film. Aside from the fact that it's just not a very good film to begin with, it has such a toxic message at the end. Yeah, I totally agree. Doctor Strange is
not the main character.
He's
not, like, in the top, like, he's, like, maybe the third main character.
No,
of this
I
movie.
can't believe you get... because Doctor Strange is really cool. And that's coming from someone who kind of just dissed him in the first movie. But, like, I think about him in Infinity War when he's fighting Thanos. I'm like, why was this movie not, like, 50% that? Why didn't we get those great fight scenes? I still am of the opinion that Wanda could beat him.
But let's see that.
But let's see a struggle first, even if maybe, I don't know. Because I know people are, she's super, super powerful, can do whatever she wants. But he's very powerful too. I think there would be a struggle. I think she would still win at the end every time. But let's see that struggle, and you prove that you can do that in an interesting way. I just want to see more of that. So there was just a lot going on in the film. America Chavez, I think, is fun. I wish she got treated better in that movie, I guess. But I think her powers are cool, and I'm excited to see her in the future, not in that film. So I just think there's a lot going on, and a lot of it's not that good. So
I completely agree.
But anyways.
So, just an interesting note. Wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, what a shame.
And I will always be so on board if Scott Derrickson is like, you know what? Let me get back into Marvel.
Yeah.
'Cause I think I don't know, like, especially the directing in that first one. Like, that is a gorgeous movie.
Yeah.
And I, like, love the themes of it.
He could be a fun pick for a Wanda solo movie. I think there's a few good picks.
I mean, I think it's, like, with Gwen, I think he can do a very compelling, like,
healthier
story. Like, powerful woman with powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Not bad. I would still say I'd like to see a woman director, but
Me too.
He can be on the short list.
Yes, I agree. That's kind of where my head's at.
Talked a lot about the inspirations.
The cast.
How do we feel the Grabber did this?
In this, like, Ethan Hawke's performance as the Grabber.
I mean, I think he did good. I think he didn't have quite as much to do. He was more like haunting rather than like introducing him as a character and building some layers there. He still rips off his mask a couple times, the bottom and the top. He looks so gross in this movie. So gross. The ice skating's, I think, very funny when he first comes into frame. Same thing. It happens in the trailer. And then, I don't know. I feel like he doesn't totally stick out to me in this film. I think he does a good job. I don't think he does a bad job, obviously.
I think he gives a better performance for. I think so in the first one.
Yeah, me too.
He's more
but he's
front and
also
center,
given
but-
more. Yeah.
But I don't know. There's like that scene where he like takes Gwen to like see the memory of him killing her mom,
That was.
and like I
yeah.
feel like that's a great moment to kind of do something maybe a little more. And it feels like he's just kind of sitting there like, I'm allowed to sit in this scene.
Yeah. I do like his line. I forgot exactly how it goes, but he's basically saying like, I'm trying to be. This is my version of trying to be nice by showing you the truth.
Mhm. He spits bars, and I think
so.
his line deliveries are still really great.
Yeah.
Like especially over the phone, the first couple times he's on there. Woo!
It's crazy watching this film and then also having the image of him and Dead Poet Society in your mind. Like, that's two completely different people. And then thinking of Maya Hawke, and I'm like, that's so fun. So, she has such like a perfect blend of both her parents' faces, or whatever.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
We talked a lot about Mason Thames as Finney. I think we talked a lot about Madeline McGraw as Gwen.
Yeah, she did great. I feel like she was personally the standout for me in this film, but I also think the cast all around was good.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's necessarily like something about like just her voice and some of the lines.
she has a very whiny voice sometimes.
She does.
But-
Which she owns, I would say, for most of this movie. There's just a couple times where where like her voice and what she's saying just takes me out a little.
That's fair.
I think that covers most of our stuff. A big question: do we
Black Phone 3?
eventually get a Black Phone 3? Or we could go for Black Phones,
Oh god.
Black emails, Black iPhones.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh, there's so much potential.
Oh my god. No, I feel like at some point I was thinking that in this film, like Finney's gonna be so happy when the iPhone is invented because he doesn't have to see those fuck ass black phones anymore, like on the wall or whatever. They have like a different name, but yeah, he's gonna be so happy. He's gonna be like, thank God. Unless the grabber is able to access that too, then he's gonna be like, fuck my life. They're everywhere now.
FaceTime
I
call.
can't even like, I have to like be Amish now. I have to live in the woods. I can't. And it's still,
That's
that's,
funny.
yeah. I was thinking I was gonna put that as my letterbox caption and then I forgot. Anyways.
But
I don't
on a more serious note, Black Phone 3.
I don't think so. I think, we had the present and then he got killed, and then we had the flashback to his first kills, and it wrapped up with their mom as well. No, I don't think so.
I would say it feels like this story has tied up with a neat little bow.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if this was a franchise going in like the 80s, 90s, the next move would be like a completely different, like a imitation grabber in another town
Yeah.
and like trying to do something.
I mean, I wouldn't mind, because I'm sure he had some, like, middle people there in between the first few kills and the last few kills. I wouldn't mind, like, a short, like, TV show. Like, I think of the It Welcome to Derry show. I wouldn't mind that. Like, a completely different friend group and then a completely different storyline and themes explored there. I wouldn't mind that. I think the grabber's an interesting character, villain, whatever you want to call him. So I wouldn't mind that. I don't need that, but I would be open to watching it, especially if Scott Derrickson was attached to it. Because he also hasn't done almost
A ton
any
of other
films,
stuff,
so yeah, or TV shows. So that would be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Ultimately, I fear this trailer, like your first trailer, is going to do a lot to make or break the movie. Ultimately, I'd watch it, but there's some potential.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be like...
I mean, I didn't think they could
good.
do a sequel, and I really liked the sequel, so I'm not against it at this point. So
Yeah, but I think Finney and Gwen are kind of done for this
I think so,
franchise, at least for
too.
the time being. And then,
Yeah.
like in 20 years, they'll have we have to go back.
no.
No,
That's the whole thing with Scream. I'm like, you moved on and it was good. Like, I don't care what the original fans want to say. Like, you did a remake and it was good, and then now you're going back. And even aside from all the Hollywood politics of that I hate, I just think that's a bad idea. I'm sure it'll make money. I'm not gonna see it, so they're not gonna get money from me. But it's like, let it go. Like, move on. Let them
stop trying to make fetch happen.
let them be at peace. Thank you.
Okay. So next up, I wanted us to
Rank the 2025 horror movies that we have seen. I think it's
Yeah.
been an interesting year for horror. I would say it's like right after action is like the most notable genre.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing quite a lot, and I feel like every year it gets more and more notable that they're left out of the Oscars a lot of the times, and that's another reason why I'm like, you have the perfect opportunity to prove them wrong by nominating Sinners a lot, because one, it deserves it, and two, that's in the horror film, so that can be your like, see, like, we nominated it a lot, and again, so deserved. So I'm like terrified that they're gonna leave it out of the Oscars. I'm actually terrified. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself, because I think they deserve to get in a lot of categories. So
For sure.
we'll see.
Alrighty, I'm gonna start us off because I've seen I think 3 more. So I went ahead and caught up to Alicia.
Yeah.
My bottom 3 are The Strangers Chapter 2, Fear Street Prom Queen, and Wolfman.
Wait, I left out Fear Street. Did I?
We definitely mentioned it.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. Sorry.
Yeah, just pretty bad. The last Strangers movie wasn't great.
Somehow this managed to top how bad that last one was. It's like borderline not a movie. We've talked about it
Yeah.
a little before, but
Oh my god.
Fear Street Prom Queen. I adore that original trilogy so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, did they lose the mark on this?
Yep.
so hardcore. And I was like super hyped for it. People started saying it was bad, and I was like, you know what? I fear I have to enjoy it in some capacity. And then I was like, dang,
Nope, this
They
is
were-
really bad.
This is like worse
It
than they
has
were saying.
Cam Cameron in it.
For sure. And then Wolfman,
I was so excited. This was like the movie I was looking forward to in January.
and then it was like one of the worst movies of the year.
So that was really brutal.
Yeah. It was bad. It was interesting to have the theater to ourselves for that movie.
Yeah.
Because we were just like, what? Out loud. And I love doing that. It's like, I almost can't even blame people when they talk in a movie. Because I'm like, I kind of get it, but also please shut up.
Fair.
But you know what? Anyways. So half the time they don't even talk about the movie. So I'm like, at least talk about the movie. But whatever. That's why I don't mind quite as much like Avengers films when people are like, yeah. I'm like, I get it. I'm like right there with you, honestly. Anyways. So
You're
My-
number 17.
number 17 is also The Strangers Chapter 2. So bad. Also, did you say the 3 films I haven't seen?
The 3 films you
So the
haven't
audience-
seen are Good Boy,
Clown in a Cornfield,
Clown in a
and
Cornfield,
Together.
and Together. Yes.
Yeah. Just so the audience knows. They're like, where's Together? Not here, guys. Not here.
My number 17 is Him. I think,
Damn.
I don't know. I really didn't like it. Some
Decent performances, I think.
but the visuals, the twists, the scares,
None of it really works for me at all. I think it's a very counterintuitive movie.
so, yeah.
Damn. My number 16 is Wolfman. I also thought this was so bad. I'm so glad Julia Garner got Weapons later. And, not horror, but the Fantastic Four movie.
Mm-hmm.
She's had an interesting year.
She
I
just
feel
worked
like I'm
better than
seeing a
that.
lot of people in like 3 notable movies this year.
They're doing a lot. The theme of the year is like dual roles. dual roles.
Dual performances, yeah.
Yes, whether they're twins or they're just like
Multiple people. Goofy.
yeah, like Mickey 17 is that it's its own thing. So
My number 16, I have The Woman in the Yard.
Some decent parts, but ultimately, like, a very irresponsible theme.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
crazy in our year of 2025.
yeah,
If people actually watch that, they'd, like, get in trouble.
yeah. My number 15 is Fear Street Prom Queen. Very bad. Very, very bad. Very disappointing after how great that original trilogy is. Yeah. There you go.
For sure. My number 15 is, and I abbreviated, the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot. I will say, the thing kind of preventing it from being lower than some of these is that
The cast actually really surprised me.
They were fun.
Yeah, if only they were in a better movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever realized just how lame their, like, unnamed killer is. Like,
Yeah.
Fish
Hook guy.
Fish. No, they, like, named him after, like, the type of, like, fish cloak he wears. Like, it was very. I, like, rolled my eyes every time they were, like, the fish slosh or, like, gasher. It was dumb.
Yeah.
Find a way. Name your killer if you're gonna go.
If you
through
can't even
this.
remember it, like that's a testament to how bad it was.
Like the
How
fish
not
slicker,
iconic it is.
like
I
the
mean,
slicker or something. It was dumb.
Yeah. Well, also context, we saw this directly after we watched Smurfs, so that also helps it be higher because it after Smurfs also debatably a movie. It was almost like this is a good movie because just compared to Smurfs. Anyways, my number 14 is Woman in the Yard. So irresponsible.
And,
Very bad.
yeah, but unlike some of those lower ones, at least some.
You know what?
Parts.
At least it has the iconic "Today's the Day."
Today's the day.
So there you go.
Okay, my number 14, I have
The Monkey. Woo.
Yeah.
I feel like it's grown on me the longer I've
Kind of distanced myself from it.
sitting with some of the like the director talk behind its meaning, I think is interesting.
Yeah.
I wish I found it a little more funny, as is clearly the intent behind it.
Yeah.
So it's still a bit low. But
I wish I liked Theo James' performances better as well.
agree.
I say performances because that's another dual role. So there you go. Dual performance. I apparently can't say the word role. It's really hard for me. So, anyways.
we'll roll with it.
Ah.
Okay, your 14.
My number 13 is the monkey.
Mm.
So we're a little bit off, but that's okay. We're very close still.
My number 13, I have Until Dawn.
Horrible adaptation. But if you kind of just take it as its own thing, I don't think it's horrible. The
Yeah.
cast, once again,
Kind of saves it a little, and then I think
some of the creatures and scares in it are solid
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that cast is fun. It has the Love Victor guy. It has, and he's done some other stuff this year. The bigger boyfriend guy, he's gonna be in The Deal, that like hockey romance series I've mentioned a few times. So that'll be interesting. And then there's another one. Oh, I think her name's Odessa. She has like the really, really curly hair. I think she was dating the bigger guy.
But she's going to be Murray Spring.
Yes. So very excited for her.
Oh, and also with Until Dawn, I've also recently seen Cabin in the Woods, and I feel like it's trying to be a little bit Cabin in the Woodsy, and I respect the attempt.
Yeah. My number 12 is Him. I think the visuals worked for me more than they did for you, so it's a little higher for me. But pretty much nothing else works. I mean, the main character, the guy from I Know What You Did Last Summer, is fine. The mentor guy had a solid performance, but yeah, nothing else really. So,
Okay. With number 12, we officially get into the category where I'd be like, this is a good movie and above.
not for me.
So I have At number 12, I have Good Boy. For those who don't
That's
know,
lower than I
that
thought it would be
is,
for you.
It's a very small budget indie film starring a dog named Indy. And it's basically just a ghost story from the dog's perspective. It's very cool seeing the story behind how it was made. The director was the owner of the dog. They just filmed it in their house. Very cool. It's, it's not trying to be super ambitious. And also, it's kind of crazy seeing someone be mean to a dog. Like the owner of the dog in the movie.
Aw.
And it's sometimes a little hard to watch. Because a big part of that movie is the dog's owner, who you don't even see on camera ever. It's like
You hear him, but you don't see his face.
well, you just never see his face. You see his body, and it's the perspective of the dog and whatnot. But he's dying of cancer, and so going out to this haunted house where his dad died was a what else am I gonna do with my life decision. And so you just see him ignoring all of the stuff that the dog is seeing, and it's I don't know. It makes me feel a lot more conscious about what happens to my animals if anything happens to me. So I gotta give this movie that. But it's a great movie, and it's great, especially considering how it was made. The how it was made, I think, really sells it for me.
My number 11 is I Know What You Did Last Summer. Kind of same thoughts as you. I liked the cast. I really like Madeline Klein just because I've seen her in a lot of other things. She was in The Map That Leads to You. She's in Outer Banks, of course. She's in a Knives Out film. Other stuff I'm sure I'm forgetting. Yeah, and she does fun work in this film. I will say I would like to see her maybe have a little bit more variety in roles. I feel like she has
Plays the hot, airheadish blonde.
Yeah, I would say Outer Banks takes that assumption and changes it and adds more to her character because she's rich. It's the whole thing in Outer Banks. You have what do they have? The Pogues, which are the richer people, and the Kooks, which are the poorer people. And just that dynamic. There's a mystery element to it. They're on a beach, so that's very fun aesthetic. She is one of the Pogues, but then she kind of gets looped into this group of Kooks. And so that's fun. So they have this assumption about her that she's just a dumb, rich blonde. And she has some elements of that, especially at first, but then the more and more she spends time with them, I think she has a lot more layers, and I still think that's probably her best performance. Cool. So, yeah. But, she's okay here. She kind of plays the same airhead, but she's
very fun.
Spoilers if you haven't seen that movie. She's a final girl, so good for her.
Right. My number 11, I have Hell of a Summer. I don't know. The reviews for this were pretty low, and it was pretty I'm
Pretty
surprised at how low
fun.
they were.
Yeah.
Because this was just campy fun. Campy fun at camp.
I agree. Especially because, Finn Wolfhard directed this?
Yeah.
So good for him. I mean, that's a pretty solid. It's not, great, but,
it's a solid start,
he's also very young for that to be his debut, so I feel like that's, a fun start.
For sure.
My number 10, you might be upset about this, I'm sorry. I would Bring Her Back. I was not a huge fan of the film. I didn't think I was going to be, though. Had a lot of parts that irks me, which is not necessarily bad for the movie. It's just my personal enjoyment. That knife scene in the kitchen.
That is a crazy scene.
I'm still I need to not think about something else. Cat.
It's
So yeah, and it just, I don't know, I thought at least the story would make it worth it. It was okay for me. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I respect that.
So.
My number 10, I have Clown in a Cornfield. You have not seen this one. I went in, I watched the trailer 10 minutes before we went to go see it. Mm-hmm. And I was very surprised by it. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It stars one of the side characters from Ginny and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing her here was super fun. There are two male characters that surprisingly shine on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just kind of like a twist on Scream and like Masked Killers. So super fun. I really enjoyed it.
We should have put the poster up for it. That's okay.
What you gonna do?
Now I feel like I'm at the point where I enjoyed this movie. Maybe it's, rated high, maybe it's not. I still enjoyed the movie regardless. So, my number 9 is Hell of a Summer. I thought this was fun. I thought it had some fun performances in it. It has that guy that I keep thinking is related to the Jaws guy. God, I literally can't believe they're not related. But he's fun. I've seen him in other things. Obviously, Finn Wolfhard is fun. I think they have some other people I maybe know.
They have a solid cast and a very young cast.
Yeah, they're having fun here. It's a good start. I would love to see more from him as he grows. So, there you go.
I completely agree. At number 9, I have Bring Her Back. I would say it is a very disturbing
I didn't
movie.
put it that low then. We're close.
Yeah, we're close enough. I wish it didn't end on such a bummer. But Sally Hawkins' performance particularly really drives this movie for
True.
me.
Very true.
I think she is absolutely killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What a crazy difference from
From
her and
Paddington.
Paddington. Oh my god.
So crazy. But I don't know. And I'm here for the twist. No, maybe not super here, but I'm intrigued by the twist throughout and trying to figure out what's happening. I think the other kids do, like particularly the male lead here. I think he does great. It's the first thing I've seen him in. And I think it's solid overall for me.
Yeah.
I definitely understand how it's not for everybody, and that scene does still pop in my head every now and I'm like,
God.
oh my gosh. But for me, I don't know. That's the intention of it.
Oh yeah,
So
and that's
it
yeah.
works for me.
Yeah, I do want to point out that obviously, like, it's supposed to, and it works. It just, some things cross a line for me, unfortunately. So yeah, it's a subjective thing for sure. My number 8 is Until Dawn. I liked this movie because I know nothing about the game, so I don't care that it's a bad adaptation. I thought the cast was fun. I thought some of the ideas they were exploring were fun. I would honestly see a sequel. Like, that's where I'm at. Unfortunately, it does make me want to play the game, except then I have to remind myself that it's not like the game, so.
Yeah, I mean, not like at all.
But this would be such a fun game if it were accurate. So, anyways, there you go.
At number 8, I have Final Destination Bloodlines. I think it is easily the best of this franchise so far.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, if the ending was a little better, this would be quite a bit higher.
Yeah.
But it
The
truly
ending
just kind
is
of
so
like
stupid. Like we have to go back to our
it's a
roots.
very flat ending for me.
Yeah.
To where I think they're building into something very interesting, bringing this into a very modern era. I think is very interesting. Why it's being brought into the modern era, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I think the cast is super fun. But really, it's that end. Oh, and that intro, the introduction, and like that whole scene, I think is amazing.
Yep.
Oh, Coin, You'll Be Famous, and the jump song, the this afternoon.
We should add that to the playlist, the wedding playlist.
Oh my god.
We're working on a playlist for their wedding. Honestly, we should. That would be really fun.
Yeah, and then a coin will kill us all.
Well, we're not going to stand on a glass floor, so it'll be okay. I don't even think there's glass at all in, like, there's not a window in that room, so it's okay.
That's funny.
So my number 7 is Companion. I feel like in time, I still like this film, but I feel like in time I'm forgetting parts of it. So that's interesting to me. But I love, what's her name? Sophie Thatcher.
Yes.
She's so good. I love her. Her, like, she has, like, interesting lips. They're very pretty, but they're not, like, symmetrical. But it's, like, very, like, I'm drawn to them. I need to like see her do
You can
like.
just say you want to kiss Sophie Thatcher.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with admitting that. But it's like I need to see her in like a romance film because I need somebody to acknowledge how like kissable her lips look. I need somebody to say that. So there you go. It's like everybody talks about Julia Roberts' mouth because she has just like a wide smile, but it's so fun and pretty. I hate like when people like hate on her for that because I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's very unique and it's very gorgeous in my opinion. So, anyways, yeah.
At number 7, I have
The Black Phone 2.
Yeah, I think it's very solid. I've literally shared all of my thoughts on it, the good and the bad. But I think it's definitely in the running for definitely is one of the most iconic
Horror movies of the year.
Yeah. My number 6 is Final Destination Bloodlines. This is so fun. Definitely the best one. And I would love to see more. I'm sure they'll make some more. No doubt.
Now, I continue to think we cooked on the idea of
Doing like period pieces for this franchise. I continue to think that'd be so fun.
Because that just completely introduces such a fun idea of like how you get out of this, the technology or, you know, depending on the era, lack thereof. You could be so creative with that if you get the right person who like really does their research into the time period. So,
at number 6, I have
Companion. I think Sophie Thatcher gives one of my favorite performances of the year so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cast is super great. The concept, I think, is so great.
I remember seeing that first trailer, not knowing that she's a robot and being like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
And then as soon as you find out that she's a robot, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. But it was also fun. I think it would have been fun to realize that in the film. I'm so glad Cole got to have that experience. I think that was fun. Just like witnessing him being like, oh, what? And we're like, yes.
But
See?
it's one
Awesome
of those things
now.
where I still enjoyed the movie, kind of seeing like how she doesn't know yet. It's all super interesting.
Yeah. I agree.
So, yeah,
Super great. Love, love, love.
Yay. My number 5, we're in top 5 now, is Weapons. I did not love this like many others did, but I still think it's solid. I think it has many like great parts to it. I can understand why it's so loved. It had maybe some pacing issues for me. But I think also Gladys is very iconic. She doesn't quite have a white face. I mean, obviously she is a white woman and she's pale.
But like her makeup is very clown-esque.
It's very clown-esque. So that's another one.
Great point.
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
Funnily enough,
At number 5, I also have Weapons.
That's funny. Interesting that we have like different thoughts on a lot of these, or not a lot, but some of these movies, but I feel like the rankings are still pretty similar.
sure.
That's interesting.
But
I don't know. You said that your like list of like good movies started a little later, so
Yeah, that's true.
but no, I super love that movie. There's just a couple of issues I have with it that kind of prevent it from, I think, truly leveling up. I think this is like a really great step for Kreger's or Kreger.
Zach Kreger?
Zach
Yeah.
Kreger. After Barbarian, and I'm so excited to see what the next step is. I
That's
think
true.
this is
a great progression for him.
Yeah, that's very
and
true.
I love the non-linear storytelling, and I think some great performances. So yeah.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately for me, it kind of just suffered just because I had such high expectations for this movie, and it didn't, just because it didn't meet that, it feels maybe worse to me than it is. So, and I'll admit that. So, my number 4 is 28 Years Later. I thought this was really good. Easily the best of the 3. And I know that's probably a hot take. Don't know why. I will never, and I'm telling you, never on a rewatch. I can't see myself having a Suicide Squad moment. Like,
I truly can't fathom, like, both you and me. Like, I don't get the appeal of those original ones.
yeah. I don't know. I'm so glad some people get it. So.
At number 4, I have
Conjuring Last Rites.
That's kind of
It's a
low.
little low.
Okay.
I think it's such a solid entry. It truly is the best in this franchise since the original. So much heart. I feel so much for these characters, and seeing a wedding is always.
Yeah.
And then I think the scares are just super cool.
Another irk scene is when the like mirror is dragging across his leg. Oh God.
I love the mirror. What a great.
Yes, it
Prop.
works so
Oh.
well.
It just works so much for me. It feels like it encapsulates so much of what like has worked for that first movie, and then the franchise as a whole, which is the whole family.
Yep.
So super love it.
My number 3 is The Black Phone 2. We talked a lot about that, so yeah, I really liked it, guys. I don't know, man.
Nice. My number 3 is Together. You haven't seen this, but I absolutely love this movie.
It's one of those I don't think I will. I hate body horror. If you haven't, guessed, all the things that irk me in all these films that I've mentioned have to do with some pain in the body. So I don't see unfortunately, I don't see myself watching this.
So great. I think those
I
two
believe you.
performances are so great. I love those actors so much. It's so unique.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the effects and everything talks about like, oh my gosh, what's the term for it? Codependency.
Yep.
Kind of like hating your partner even though you're still with them. And they explore stuff in such interesting and scary ways. Oh, I just love it so much.
All right. So my number 2, and I went ahead and put my number 1 is Conjuring Last Rites and Sinners, of course. I adored both of these movies. They're honestly fairly close, but I will say Sinners is just like in its own league. Like I still would personally pick that as Best Picture. I don't think it's gonna get there. I think it's gonna get a nom. If that doesn't even get, that's 10 noms. If it doesn't even get in that,
There's no way
somebody should sue, quite frankly. But I think like Michael B. Jordan should still be in the race for, to be nominated for Best Actor. I don't think he's going to win, and I don't even think he should, but I think he so deserves to be nominated. And also, I would not even be mad if he won. So, I think maybe some supporting actresses, we'll see. We still have a lot of movies that I think some names are being thrown out, so we'll have to see if they can still get in the race for that. Original script, I think, should be an easy nom. I personally think director should get a nom, Ryan Coogler. Something visuals, score,
I think
or
in the
original
craft
song.
category, it's going to do really well.
Yeah, I hope so too. Oh my gosh, I'm just like terrified, but we'll see.
For sure. My number 2 and number 1 are 28 Years Later and Sinners.
Yep.
Absolutely adored both of these movies. Sinners, I think, is ultimately a masterpiece.
Yeah, me too.
Both incorporate horror in really cool ways. Vampires and zombies infected.
Yeah.
And I super love that they use the horror elements to kind of like drive the story forward. It like uses these like horror creatures in their stories really well. It's like a backdrop for the story that's being told, and I super love the way that these two films do that. And they truly are two of the best movies of the year for sure.
Yeah.
For me.
Very fun.
But I think a lot of people also agree to that point.
I agree, yeah. And I'm very excited for the Bone Temple to come out so soon.
I'm very interested to see how Nia DaCosta takes over. I really liked Candyman, and then but then the Marvels was an interesting note. I think even just for her in general, I feel like we can't even super gauge her on that because of how much interference. She said that there was on that.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to kind of get more of a detail on how she is as a director, like what her style feels like.
Interesting that, just as a woman, interesting that she was blamed for that movie despite all the interference. And then you have like Snow White, and instead of everybody talking about the director like they did for Nia DaCosta for the Marvels, they talked about Rachel Zegler.
No, clock it.
Interesting. I'm clocking it. So, anyways.
So yeah, those are the horror movies that we've seen this year and ranked them. Let us know what are some of your favorite and least favorite horror movies of the year. And are there any major ones that we're missing? This one was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. I will say we don't have much time for Good Fortune.
How about we keep this one super brief?
Okay,
Since
I'm so
you
down.
didn't even finish the whole thing.
Oh my god, please, let's tell the story.
Go for it.
And by the way, I'm not ashamed at all. I think it's really fucking funny. So, basically, ever since I started my new job and I have to get up early, I'm an EP person. I am now a grandma, and my bedtime is strictly like 10 p.m. latest. Which is why I didn't see Good Boy, because they only had showings at 10:30. Every day it was in our theater. Horrible for me. I'm like, I need it to be over like before 10:30, not even start. But then we really wanted to see Good Fortune, and we wanted to see it somewhere because there was a restaurant we wanted to go to. Let's put it that way. But then Cole had some work stuff happen, so we decided to go later because it was a Friday, and we're like, it's okay, like bedtimes don't count on Fridays because we don't have work the next day. Except the movie was at 9:25, and it wasn't even that long. But let me just tell you, like, put it into perspective that I fell asleep with like 30 to 40 minutes left of the movie. So, and that's nothing against the film. It was not boring. It was a good movie. I was like enjoying watching it. It's just, I was like wearing a sweater. I was in sweatpants. They had like totally like reclined seats, dark lighting. It wasn't like horror, like, you know, things that would keep you awake because they irk you sound wise. So it was just a recipe for me to fall asleep, and I did. And then I fell asleep in the car ride back home. So, and then I still fell asleep right when I got home. You would think that maybe that would keep me awake. It did not. So I was an EP girl.
Wow.
So sorry. I really can't comment on like the ending of this film. From what I hear, I would have liked it. So it just is what it is. So
yeah. As a comedy, it's very dry humor. Like I compare it to from what I've seen of Napoleon Dynamite and like Scott Pilgrim. It's not, I would say, a super typical attempt at a comedy, which makes it feel super unique. I truly don't think I could say this movie is completely like any other comedy. But I think that gives it its own unique charm. Keanu Reeves is hilarious. Seth Rogen kills it.
Keke Palmer, always a joy in comedy.
And
our main character?
I think he's fine.
Did you know he was the director for this film as well?
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think he does fine. So good for him.
I looked it up, and I have not seen him in anything else. So
He didn't seem super familiar.
Yeah, I didn't think I did, but it's good to know.
Are you still wanting to do the comedy ranking?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright. But basically, I would say if you like dry humor,
It's definitely worth a chance to watch it at your earliest convenience. And the ending is very life-affirming and a lot sweeter than I was expecting it to be. So, yeah.
I was curious how it was going to end as we were, like, going through it. Like, halfway through, I was like, can this truly end
With him going back and like being happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
I felt that way about some movie. I forgot what it was, but it was like, I'm gonna hate this if it doesn't end well. Oh, Roof Man. I was like, how is this gonna end where I'm like satisfied with what consequences they face? Yeah. Also, they knew I fell asleep too, so don't you worry.
Okay. So we are going to rank, I think we both have 10, right?
I have
you
12.
have 11.
I have 12.
12. Oh my gosh. So you're going to give your first two. These are comedies that have released in 2025 thus far.
Okay. I'm just gonna like shorten that. Okay, my number 12 and 11. These are comedy films. I think we said that maybe that came out in 2025. Happy Gilmore 2. I think a lot of people thought this film was bad, but I still have seen people say they like these films. They're definitely more dad films. Obviously, you know, Adam Sandler, that's pretty much up his alley. I think they're pretty dang bad.
What's ASF again?
Another Simple Favor. Yeah, I could have spelled it out, but I was like panicking. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's just like one giant celebrity cameo fest. It gave me like Electric State flashbacks because of that. I will say I always enjoy, well, I don't know, maybe that's a dramatic word. I enjoy seeing his daughter in the film. His actual biological daughter is in the film as his daughter. I always was dramatic because I've only seen her in this movie and one other movie. But I really liked her in the movie on Netflix, You're So Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah. That was one I had on my list forever. And I finally watched it and I really liked it. I thought it was cute. I thought first of all, she's so pretty. Oh my God. I'm like, I don't even know. And then, yeah, I think she's a good actress. And I'm like now so excited anytime I see her in a new film. I'm like, let's go. Even this one. I'm like, I still love to see you, Queen. Another Simple Favor is obviously the sequel to A Simple Favor with Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. The first one was okay. Second one, nope.
Dang.
Absolutely not. Anna Kendrick, you deserve better. But I do think it's really funny seeing their like, seeing them promote the film when they clearly like hate each other, but they're supposed to also hate each other in the film, so it kind of works. So, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay. I fear this is gonna be crazy. And you're gonna gasp. But I would like to point out, I've only seen 10 comedies this movie, and 10 comedies this year, and I don't think any of them are like crazy bad.
Okay.
And this one, I think the stars are not the problem. I just wish it had a bit of a better plot.
No, I really think I know which
You
one
do.
it is.
I have One of Them Days.
Oh. What?
I know. I'm so sorry.
I thought you were going to say The Naked Gun.
No.
What?
I don't know.
I loved that movie.
I think it's good. Keke Palmer, a star.
That thoroughly surprises me because I
I'm
thought
sure
you
it's-
liked it more than that. So that's interesting to
Yeah,
me.
I liked it.
Wow. Let me just tell y'all, it's much higher on my list. I could tell you that right now. So if you're gasping, don't worry. You have
Live through her, not
you
through
have
me.
both sides of the opinion right now, basically. Wow, that did throw me for a loop. Okay. My number 10 is Nobody 2. I don't think it's bad, but I'm not a huge fan of either film. I do think this one's better than the first one. It has some actual interesting action. Some of the cast is fun. I don't know. A lot of it just doesn't really work for me. I think it's fine. It was like worth watching. So I don't regret watching it. So there you go. But I don't ever see myself rewatching them. And then I kind of don't want to watch a third one if they ever make one. So
That's fair.
there you
It's
go.
not doing well, so it probably won't
I
get
mean,
one.
yeah. I mean, I probably would just because I see. I saw The Strangers Chapter 2, so there's a low bar. But I don't want to. So there you go.
At number 9, I also have Nobody 2. I think this one's, as a movie, it's solid. Maybe as a comedy, I wish it was a little better. But I certainly think it's an improvement on the first one.
Yes, me too.
Another hot take that we both share. We don't like Nobody. So...
We don't like nobody. Get the fuck out.
But this one actually let its like family be characters and not just like an annoying plot point.
Yep.
So I appreciated that. Continue.
My 9 and up, I enjoyed all of these films. I mean, Nobody 2 is fine, but now I'm to like, I enjoyed that for various reasons. So I have Borderline. I feel like this was also kind of an okay movie, but a little bit on the better side just because I love the cast. Samara Weaver, you're such a queen. You're one of my favorite final girls ever. I'm so glad you were another one this movie. So there you go. And the antagonist in that film was kind of having a moment
He's killing
when
it.
we watched it. So yeah. So fun. And then finding out that one crazy lady is Chris Evans' wife. You go, queen. That's kind of what a duo. I want to see them in a film together now. So maybe one day.
At number 8, I have Novocaine. Super fun, kind of
So
gimmicky.
lower than I thought it would be.
Surprisingly sweet.
Yeah.
But I will say, like the bottom one is
A Keke Palmer film. Like there's not been a lot of comedies, but I've enjoyed the comedies that have made it to theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think more speaks to what it takes for them to greenlight a comedy movie going to theaters
Yeah.
than anything else.
But
Yeah.
Novocaine, solid.
go Jack Quaid.
Mm-hmm. I put as my number 8 Good Fortune. Obviously, we admitted that I didn't see the act 3 basically, but I was still enjoying it until I fell asleep. So there you go. Fun time. Except the main guy's voice. I'm so sorry. Very annoying. I'm so sorry.
At number 7, we saw it classified as a comedy and we just kind of went for it. I have Roofman.
Yeah.
I think that this movie ultimately is saved by some really heartfelt performances. Award worthy, as I would say in my review that we did.
That's still kind of crazy to me, but fair enough. Fair enough.
But overall, it is funny at parts, but
Yeah.
it's fine. Good.
I put The Naked Gun next. I feel like I liked this one maybe a little bit less than you, but I still enjoyed it. It was still a good time. I would see a sequel with the new characters that they casted. I think they have some funny bits, but I think they're just really, really missing the practical effect jokes. I loved that as a part of the original trilogy, especially the first one. And they had some of that, but I just want more. I get it's modernized, but that's what made it specifically like a Naked Gun film, I think. So that's like their brand, I would say, in my opinion. So there you go.
At number 6, I have Good Fortune. Very dry humor, very unique, like I was saying. I think Seth Rogen is super funny.
And then him and Keanu are like a killer duo.
Yeah. It was very fun seeing. This is like Seth Rogen's like first feature film, I think.
Interesting.
Is that true?
I know he's done like voice acting in like
Yeah.
animated movies, but
I feel like this is the first time because
he's in Superbad.
Oh,
So he's been in
okay.
movies
Okay. I just feel like for whatever reason he seems like such a big name, but he hasn't been in that much stuff. I feel like I think it's because his voice is so distinct and he is in so many animated things that's why I get that feeling. I just haven't seen his face a lot.
Oh, he's also in Dumb Money.
I haven't seen that one. So, anyways.
Okay.
Your number 6?
I put, this is also another one that some people might disagree is a comedy film. I just think it, and I could understand that completely, but I think it has a lot of comedy in it, so we wanted to include it on this list. And I also think we both would love any excuse to shout it out, so I think it's underrated. I put Death of a Unicorn. I think this is an underrated movie. I get it's kind of sloppy, whatever. I can understand why, like, what is it? There's like a term for like snooty film people. They're like, I don't like funny films. Film snobs?
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. I can understand why they wouldn't like this. In fact, I can understand why they would hate it. Luckily, I would like to say I'm not a film snob because I really liked this movie. It was so fun. It was such a fun surprise because we didn't know much about the film. It kind of looked like it wouldn't be that good. It was fun. And I think Jenna Ortega is so funny with the project she she picks. So
Sure.
they're like all over the place. So, anyways, there you go.
At number 5, I have Borderline.
I think it's a hoot, even though it's, I think, such a small movie given the year.
I think back to it quite often, actually.
Yeah.
And I particularly think those two lead performances, I think they kill it.
Have you seen Ready or Not with
Yes.
Samara Weaver? Okay, good.
Oh,
I was about to
so
say, we're
good.
watching that like today if you haven't, because it's so good.
So excited for that eventual sequel.
Yeah. My number 5 is Novocaine. I thought this was so fun. Again, this is one of those where it's like, it's kind of like comedy, action, whatever. But it does have a lot of humor in it. And yeah, I thought Jack Quaid was so fun in this. So, her. I'd maybe like to see a little bit more variety in his roles as well, I think. But he's very good at, this is like right up his alley. This or like Companion. I guess that is variety in itself, but I don't know.
No, I would say, because in Companion, he's like trying to come off as like the character in Novocaine.
Yeah.
Whereas here in Novocaine, he's genuinely that person.
That's fair. Yeah.
So
I'd like to see something totally like maybe like a drama, like totally out of left field.
agree.
I want to see him be serious when he can't be like super charming. So
I agree.
there you go.
At number 4, I have Death of a Unicorn. I think it is sad how overlooked this movie is.
Yeah.
it's like Jurassic Park meets The White Lotus. And what a pitch.
This movie made me rewatch We're the Millers because Will Poulter's hilarious.
He is such an acting force, and he's so great in this movie.
Oh my god, he's so funny. And he's so funny in We're the Millers too. So
Like, I continue... let me double check my list. Yeah, he's like the best comedy performance I've seen all year in this movie.
yeah. I mean, both of our number 1 films has some great performances. We'll get there eventually, but yeah, I agree. I put Roofman as my number 4. That I feel like looking at it, that might be a little bit high. I might move it down, but I don't know. At the time of making this ranking, which is like 2 hours ago, that's how I felt. I guess I don't know.
At number 3, I have Freakier Friday. I expected this to not be nearly as good as it
Actually surprised me into being.
Yeah.
I love our main 2 girls from the original movie. I think they're so
Of course.
talented.
Mhm.
And then the 2 new actresses
Surprisingly kept up.
Mhm.
So, and they were able to kind of, even though it's the same thing, kind of
Yeah.
add some new angles to it. And it was very heartfelt and still really funny.
Yes. They updated that humor really well. I'm trying to like soft launch my grandma watching that film. Both of them. She hasn't seen the original,
That's
but
crazy.
she loves the Murder, She Wrote show. And apparently they're doing like a remake or like they're making a film or something like that with Jamie Lee Curtis as Jessica Fletcher, the main detective, because Angela Lansbury's no longer alive. So she was talking about that. She's like, I don't know. I'm not the biggest like Jamie Lee Curtis fan. Neither's my dad. My dad hates her. I don't know why. But I'm like, you should watch Freaky Friday. She might like it. She kind of surprises me with what she likes. So it's a little bit raunchy, but I feel like, I don't know. She likes The Breakfast Club, and that could be pretty raunchy too. So.
Oh, that's very raunchy.
Yeah. I bet One of Them Days is my number 3. I personally still really liked this film. I think SZA is fun. So, yeah.
Oh, SZA's also great. Like, those
Yeah.
main 2 actresses are, like,
Mhm.
easily the best part of that. But then I
Even
think...
if the character is like doesn't deserve to be friends with the other person. So.
I don't know. I feel like they're doing so much heavy lifting in that movie, and then everything else is just like almost kind of flat in comparison.
It's definitely like that's the pitch is those 2 actresses and their dynamic.
Yeah.
but
also-
I so hope that SZA continues acting.
Yes.
Especially in comedies, because she's so good.
I also stand by the fact that the lone lady is really annoying in that movie, except I do kind of find her funny in the other movies and shows she's in. She was in Abbott Elementary as the aide.
And then in the studio.
And in the studio. And I think, funny enough, I feel like the roles are very similar, but for some reason it works. I wonder if I rewatched the film, if I would like her performance in that. Because I now am like prepared for it.
Makes sense.
I don't know.
I want to segue. I think we forgot a decent one, which was the Karate Kid Legends, which was like...
That was really funny.
That was a very funny
Yeah.
movie. I would say... I'm not going to add it in.
You put it between...
Yeah, I
2
would
and
put
3?
it here between my 2 and my 3, so it would
Okay.
be number 3 if I were to have remembered to put it in.
I would also... Same thing. Same for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
One was super funny, and I didn't expect it to be, but it was like
Yeah.
one of the like funny. Like I don't
It
know.
was
If,
so funny. I cracked up.
we were crazy when
Ugh,
we watched that in
yeah.
theaters.
But then at my number 2, I put The Naked Gun. I think you might be able... Because they continue to have a lot of, like, physical comedy gags. It's just not
man.
huge set pieces. It's a lot of, like, smaller stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I recently listened to a podcast, the House of Cinema podcast, talking about that episode. And it reminded me of so many great bits from it. I think it's such a unique franchise, and having Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson take
What
it
a
over.
great duo.
Such
I was honestly shocked and heartbroken that they weren't really together, that it was just fake PR. Traitors.
How dare Hollywood do this
Traitors.
to us?
You can't waste chemistry like that. Get together. Anyways, my number 2 is Freakier Friday. I loved this film. I thought, I don't know, I think it might be better than the original. So, I might be crazy for that. Sorry, guys. It was so funny. Jamie Lee Curtis in this film. She was one of the her, Will Poulter, and then the 2 main performances in my number 1, which is The Roses. Forgot to put that. So those are like top 4 performances. to
The
me.
Roses also is my number 1.
Yeah.
Such a great freaking comedy.
Oh my god.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
so surprising. And I'm so glad we watched it last minute.
Yeah, we
So.
almost missed it, and I'm so glad we did. It's like probably my favorite surprise of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
So,
and
there
I
you go.
enjoyed the trailer, but
I guess we'll hold it up
I would yeah.
for a second.
Oh, okay.
I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a day. Please let us know what are your favorite comedies of the year so far,
Yeah.
and are we missing any? We'd love to see more. It feels like that's a crazy low number for this point in the year.
Yeah, I agree.
So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let us know all of your thoughts on The Black Phone 2 and Good Fortune. You can see them now in theaters if you have not already. And until the next time, I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your other host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.